Brenda, thank you very much for agreeing to take part in One Picture My Story. And just for the recording, if you could just tell us your name and what you do.
Okay. My name is Brenda Wade. I'm presently the daycare manager at Age UK, Lewisham and Southwark.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, I also wear another hat where I am the director for London Senior Social. Now, London Senior Social was formed out of a need, I believe, that whilst I was working as the support worker at Age UK, I would escort members to their door and say goodbye for the weekend. And they would often share with me that after I leave you, or they will say to me, after you're gone, I'm not going to be seeing anyone until Monday when you pick me up again for daycare. I said, oh, so what are you going to be doing all the weekend? Just sitting and watching television or trapped looking at the four walls. So they will often share that with me from time after time. And I felt so touched by the whole thing. I said, that cannot be. Surely they can go out on the weekend like everybody else, because the entire community is doing something on the weekend. So I got a small grant and I bought myself a 6-seater van, and I started with 2 clients. I just said to one of my clients, would you like your mom to come out on the weekend? And he was so happy. And I said, okay, I have my own mom, I have this other lady. And I mentioned it to somebody else again. And they said, yes, I would really love that, because I need to do something like go shopping, take care of the house. And I really love if I know my mom is somewhere safe.
Yeah.
So I saw the need that it was needed for older people to be out and about on the weekend.
Yeah.
Thus, London Senior Social
Amazing.
was formed just from those words that older people share with me from time to time.
Yeah.
And after a considerable time, this was from 2015, I got some support from an organization to do a Black History application. And therefore Southwark was the first one to endorse me to get some funding. And we did the Black History, and it just snowballed into what it is today.
What
and,
did you do in the Black History? What was it? Just a series
Oh,
of
yeah.
projects and stuff?
Yeah, within the Black History, we did a fashion show, Black Heritage. We had seniors doing a fashion show, doing cultural.
When was that, Brenda?
In 2015, October 2015 was the first time we got a grant from Southwark Council to do our Black History celebration.
Yeah.
So we did that, and it was really a success, where they were so engrossed in doing their cultural dress wear. The seniors wear their cultural dress wear, and that was such beautiful expression of our heritage, who we are, how we stem from Africa and dispersed into the Caribbean, and even in England. So it was a combination of various expression of African heritage. Wonderful. And it was really lovely. It was a fantastic day, and we loved it.
Amazing.
And then we had the food as well, so we had some African Caribbean food, and that was really really sumptuous.
Where did you hold that? Was that here?
No, this wasn't here. We held it, we had the grant to given space somewhere UKCGIG, and
but local.
It was quite local. So we were quite happy with that, and we felt elated that fantastic, and we really felt grateful that Southwark had recognized the organization because we just started and we got the grant. So I say thanks to Southwark for that, for really endorsing that for us.
Yeah. So how long have you been at Age UK?
I joined Age UK in 2009.
Okay.
I came to this country 2004.
From where?
From Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
From Jamaica. I left Jamaica in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
I came up to my sisters and I started working with Age UK in 2009. How I got that job was I was on benefit and then I got called upstairs to do an interview and they said, Age UK is recruiting for support worker. I said, what's a support worker? Because we don't know it as support worker in Jamaica.
What do you know it as? What do you know it as?
Care assistant.
Care assistant.
Yeah,
right,
or carer,
Yeah.
So I said, what's a support worker? He said, you help out in older people. And being the youngest of 6, I'm always in older people company. Every time I've always been the around older people and I enjoyed it. And I said, okay, that sounds good. And I did the interview and they told me I didn't get through, but a couple of days later they said, can you come in and start working at the Black Elders, the Ensford Road. That's for Afro-Caribbean people. They need some assistance there. And I said, yes, sure, I can come down. And it was in December. And they said they would have offered me the position in January. But because I wasn't doing anything, I came and I said I can volunteer there to see what the job is really going to be about. So I'm very artistic and I love art and I'm very creative. So I started there to help out. We went to galleries, we went to the seaside, and we have people coming in to do art and craft with older people. Oh my goodness. This was just up my street. I absolutely love art. And I said, I can't believe they're going to be paying me to do I can't believe they're going to be paying me to do art. I love art. I do painting on canvas, water painting, drawing. So I fit in easily. And the manager, which was Moji at the time, an African lady, she said, okay, Brenda, I will show you how you can be activity coordinating. So right away, she pulled me off from just doing the caring of feeding and toileting and all of that and put me to do activity coordinating. So I said, okay, fine, not a problem. And I fit into that role very nicely, just doing art and craft with the client, creating kaleidoscope, doing Valentine party. One of the things that I brought was the original activity of doing Valentine party, telling them that we're going to be writing love note to our loved ones, whether they're still alive or they're still with us. We will get helium balloons, have it on string, and then write something to our loved ones, and then we disperse the balloon outside in the air.
A sort of reminiscence as well.
It's almost similar to that. But what really struck me once when I did it was that one lady had said, she misses her son so much and she didn't get a chance to really go to the funeral because she was not well at the time when he passed. And this was such a good release for her. And I remember her saying that, and I said, yes, finally, this is exactly what I wanted to do, to achieve, that people will really feel rewarded or feel fulfilled to do something like this, because my father had passed away and I've always wanted to write a note. I was here, I couldn't go back to Jamaica at the time, and so I didn't get the chance to say bye either. So when I did that, it was such a good release for me as well, just to disperse these balloons that are in the air, and wherever they land, it just felt refreshed. You just feel a release, sense of release.
And was it mainly Caribbean people you were doing it?
Oh yes, definitely. That club Black Elders, the Black Elders at the Ensford Road was at in Camberwell at the time, and that was strictly for Afro-Caribbean people, because we felt like we needed an opportunity to express our heritage, express ourselves in our food, in our culture, and the things that we do. So we felt really honored and really proud that the council will give us a specific place where we could meet, where we have commonality and interest, similar interests, the food, the clothing, the language, you know, and that was really, really good for us.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we didn't have enough funding to continue. So one of the things, my manager was going on maternity leave, and I just started. So she said, Brenda, I'm going to leave you in charge, to oversee what is going on. You will be supervised by the senior management up at Stone End. But nonetheless, I'm leaving you in charge because I'm going on maternity leave. Only to find out now that there isn't enough funding. It's going to be closed down. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Luckily for me, there was a volunteer who was a one of those people that does advocacy, or when you're out of a job and you need representation. Union.
Oh, right.
Yeah, she was a member of the union.
Union rep?
Union rep.
Okay.
And she said, Brenda, don't take it like that. Write everybody name who can sign, or let them sign their name towards wherever you write their names. And we put a petition, and we took it to Harriet Harmon at the Southwark Town Hall in Camberwell. And we got all of our 15-20 clients' name on the list, and we took it down to the town hall, and we spoke to Harriet Harmon, representative, and she wrote us back, and she said, that will not happen on our watch. We were elated. We were so happy. And we got Dora Dixon Fry involved as well, and she took it up and she ran with it. She said, this is my constituent. We will not close it down. Even if it is closed down, we're going to send you all up to Stone End, up at the borough.
Yes.
And we all gather our things and we came here at Stone End Day Center. It was a mixture of Caucasian, Indian. It was a good mix. Not much black people was here at the time, and we flooded inside here. It was a culture shock and everything, but nonetheless, they welcomed us. We got assimilated into the group, and then it worked out. We're still here up to this day. So we came up here and we enjoy ourselves. They adjusted and cooked the meals that we are accustomed to. So everything just moved along nicely. We took, a little bumps and bruises along the way, but nonetheless, we finally came out, and it was good. Presently, we're more Afro-Caribbean than any other because, the dynamics of the culture changes from time to time. But nonetheless.
And also people move around, don't they?
Yes, people definitely move around. There's a shift in people coming and going, different cultural group coming. But they presently, as we are here at Stone End Day Center Age UK, it is a good mixture. People describe it as warm, welcoming, and an ideal place to be.
I have to say, I would agree with that. Because every time I've come here, I've always been beautifully greeted at the door.
Yes,
everyone's always smiling.
Well,
and the what do you call them? I know you would probably call them your family, Brenda.
Yeah.
But do you call them
the staff?
Visitors, residents? What do you?
We call them the members.
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 you know, particularly those who've come to some of the reminiscence groups that I've run.
Yeah.
So lively and
They
interesting.
are. They
and some
are.
of their lives are fantastic.
Right.
But I wanted to ask you, Brenda, so now you're manager though?
Yes,
because
now
you've gone
I'm
from being
support worker to activity coordinator.
But you're a manager now.
I'm a manager now for the Stone and Day Centre.
Which doesn't surprise me, actually, given what you've been telling me, because there's obviously a certain resilience there. Lots of transferable skills. But how did that come about? Is it a natural kind of progression for you?
Well, I really come alive when I'm doing activity with the members. That is my thing. I really enjoy being with them. They're such a dynamic group, a personality, and they hold such a wealth of knowledge and skill. When you sit and you talk to someone, especially as a manager, I would go out there and do an assessment. So I'm meeting the person, the individual, not an older person. I'm meeting an individual. I learn about their life skill, what their history are, what is it that they used to do as a younger person. So I'm meeting the whole person.
A holistic way of approaching them. Yes.
Absolutely, because I want to find out what is it that you enjoy doing, what is it that you're hoping to do within your capacity. And therefore these people are coming to me now as a whole. So I see them as somebody who have 3 kids, their family, their grandchildren. You see pictures around their houses, in their house, of when they're getting married, their grandchildren, their children. And so you see their entire life, you know. So when people do come in and see someone, older person sitting, especially within a group, the first instance is, oh, they're frail. Oh, they need help. Yes, that is part of it. But they have a life, you know. They want to do the same. That's what I found out. So
it's not focusing on what they can't do, but focusing on what they can or want to do.
And that is exactly throughout the years that I've found out, is that you want to do the same thing. It's just that you are doing it at a slower pace. You know? And therefore the perception is they can't. Yes, they can. If you see them dancing, having chat, having a laugh, playing domino, doing word search, doing exercise, you know. And these are the same thing that as a younger person we are doing as well. They want to do the same thing. There's no distinction. So as the daycare manager, how that happened, you had asked. My CEO for the past 3-4 years before keep asking me, oh, Brenda, why not take the position as the manager? I said, no, I didn't want to be pulled away from the seniors. I didn't want to be pulled out of that arena.
And your activity.
Yes. And doing activity because it made me laugh. I was happy. I was vibrant. You know, I come alive, you know. And therefore, when she said, Brenda, I said, no, I'm not interested in any manager position. No. She asked me every year because the job seemed to have a revolving door, being the daycare manager. I don't know if it's people find it, you know, they've reached the ceiling and decide, you know, time to move on. So people normally stay. I've seen a number of managers come and go. So I said, no, it's probably a poison chalice. I don't want to go in there. I enjoy my work. I'm in my zone. This is what I was born to do. You know, I don't want to leave that. So one manager, Chris MacArthur, he was the CEO of Southwark Community Southwark recently. He is a fantastic manager. Talk about thinking 5-year, 10-year plan. So when he was deciding to go, not be known to us, he would go on annual leave for 1 week. So he said, Brenda, could you cover my position here? 1 week? I said, okay, no problem. It's just a week. I'll be going back into the main hall, back to my activity. Then he goes for 2 weeks. And I said, okay, Brenda, I'm going for 2 weeks. Can you cover me for 2 weeks? I'm going back home, holiday. I said, okay, fine. No problem. Then he said he's going for 3 weeks. But this time we're going to pay you because you've been doing such a lovely job. I said, okay, fine, amazing. Even better.
Yeah,
amazing. You know. So
and how did you find it when you were doing it? I mean,
it initially, the first week was a bit of a trepidation because I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing as the manager? You know.
Yeah.
So when he left, it's very detailed, and he left. If you're going to do the minibus, this is who you call. If you're going to do the transport sheet, this is what you do for weekly operation of the transport, who we're going to be pick up. We have 3 transports, so it's simple to put A, B, and C. And who is on route A, who is on route B, who is on route C. So I follow that manual, and he left what we will call a beautiful manual. And it was easy to follow because I just look at what for transport, what for vehicle, what for staff, and I follow it. And it was easy to do. So when he eventually start going, this is what it become natural to me now. It becomes something easy to follow because it's what I'm doing every day. Yeah. So it's become the norm.
Yeah.
So it wasn't difficult the second and the third time. By the time he go off for the 3 weeks, I was quite grounded in what to do. So they said to me, Chris has resigned, our manager have resigned, so could you just stand in until we get a manager? I said, okay, fine, not a problem. And we waded through and all of that. Okay. So they called me into the office and said, Brenda, we just finished doing our interview with 3 panels, 3 interviews. But neither one of them meet our criteria.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you consider doing the job? I said one clause I will put in. If I am allowed to go back to the seniors, if at the end of the probational period, if we're not happy, either party is not happy, can I go back to being a activity coordinator? They said, okay, fine.
So let me get this straight, Brenda. You're being offered a manager's post.
Yes. And I have criterias.
Yeah, but you're already thinking about going back to being an activity coordinator.
Yes.
So it sounds like you would have missed that job.
Yes, I would have missed out on being, from time to time I try to squeeze myself back in there, but they said, no, Brenda, you have to move away. And they send me off to do managers training and all sorts of training,
The rest is history, as they say.
And the rest is history.
So if I were to ask you, if you were still in Jamaica, what would you have done the job?
It is such a thing. I will say to anyone, always look what your children are doing, because that is something that they will take on in their life journey. I've always given away my mom's groceries because...
What do you mean?
We live in our own property and therefore our own house. So my father owned his property and owned his house.
Yeah.
And the people surrounding us were living in rented homes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were somewhat well off, better off than the other set of people.
Yeah.
So they would come and say, Brenda, can I have milk? Can I have some seasoning? I never thought about it. I just give it. Said, yes, you can have it. And they always seem to be asking me because I keep giving it away. I keep giving mom things away. And then in my older years, like in my 20s, I started to take my nephews, them to the cinema, roller skating, church, swimming, social event. But these were children. I fill up the car and I take them to activities, social event, So this wasn't different from what I was doing back home. I would Back home, officially, I was working at a health insurance, Blue Cross of Jamaica, as an health insurance, where I'm processing people's health claim form.
Right.
And therefore, when it's not going to be payable because they leave off some information, I will go down to customer service because some of them are older people. And they're going to take a long time before this claim have to go back out to them and come back to them for them to get their compensation.
Right, okay.
So I didn't like that because I said, if customer service is telling them the correct information, it shouldn't be difficult for them to get their money back quick. So I was drawn to that to help older people.
There was a community spirit there from a very early age.
From a child giving away mom thing and taking children to activity, social activity.
And having concern for people who perhaps either were not well informed or didn't have the wherefore to do it themselves.
Didn't have the wherewithal to do it so.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
And then I went downstairs to the customer service during my lunch break and take the form that they're going to be submitting, and I said, you need to put in this, you need to put in that, you need to put in that, and help them out in customer service, because I said these claims are going to be rejected and go back out, and it's going to be a long palavering, too long a process. So I said I went down there, get that sorted, and help out who I can help out with that.
So whilst you're being an insurance administrator, you're also being an advocate. You're doing advocacy work.
I would never even call it advocate. I just said, let me go down there and sort them out because I'm doing it all wrong. I don't know who is that customer service. Aren't they looking at the claim to see that they need to sign it or they need to put in what the medical condition is, so that we can put a code on it. If we have the proper code to their medical condition, then it is able to be paid accordingly, and the right amount of money will be allotted to the people. Yeah. So I'm
getting a sense though, Brenda, for you, it's also a question of making sure that people get what they need, a kind of act of I need to get justice for people.
Yes, especially if they're vulnerable. I get so hot under the collar if so much for older people because they're vulnerable, they're isolated, they're invisible, and they're not able to speak for themselves. They don't have a voice. Because I work with them and I've seen poverty around me. And I know isolation.
You've seen that obviously during COVID as
well.
Age UK.
Oh yes,
did
absolutely.
An amazing job throughout that time, throughout the pandemic.
Oh yes, and which leads now from Jamaica doing that bit of work. In terms of advocacy. And then here in the UK to do work with older people at a Black Elders group, and then taking it further as we merge with Stone and Day Centre, Age UK, Lewisham and Southwark. And then it was a natural evolution to form London Senior Social. While one of the beauty about London Senior Social is that we do mobile service where we have a transport, we're picking up people, take them to Stone End and doing activity on the weekend only. Food to You had called me, Katrina from Healthy Living Centre.
Did you say Food to You?
Fooditude.
Okay.
Fooditude. Yeah, okay. That's the organization name. They provide lunch on a massive scale for corporate companies. So they weren't able to distribute the food that they got stocked with. So they call around to organization and find out if anybody is willing to take on distribution of food. So I said, you know what, we will do it. Let's get our staff we do mobile anyhow. We haven't got a building that we have to shut down. So if we're driving back and forth, it's not going to stop us. All we do is just put on the necessary gear, the mask, the sanitizer, and social distance. We load up the vehicle and we distributed over 10,000 meals, which we were so proud to do during the height of the pandemic. Southwark Council again, we got funding to provide meal. United Saint Savior gave us funding to provide meal, and we roll with that, and we received groceries. Amazing. You know, so we got so many support from the community where everybody was just coming together and working together. But we were just out there on the front line, flat out, delivering food, living at seniors people doorstep. We did care homes, you know, Lou Evans, Ardell, in Bermondsey, Lime Tree, and we were just covering the community.
You must have been such a lifeline.
Absolutely. People who were isolated, the Blind Aid, we took food to Blind Aid, you know. Queensborough communities right here on our doorstep, Scoville Estate, Bellingham House, climbed them as well. So we were just any and everybody who wanted support, we were just there for it. And we keep getting the food coming in from Fooditude. Then Bermondsey Community Kitchen got involved and they gave us 300 meals. Amazing. And we said, oh my God. We got Divine Rescue that does homeless people to get some of the food as well. And therefore we were able to just spread out like a green bay tree. You know,
it was such a busy time for you, Brenda.
We were loving it. We were loving it, but we were quite busy. We got volunteer from Nunhead Knox, Claire Shepherd, the local council from there. Rye Hill Tenant Hall was my base, and we just distributed food, just Southeast 1, Southeast 15, 16, 17, 22, you know, we were just exploding all over Southwark.
So
you know?
what are these pictures that you brought in today?
So the picture depicts exactly what London Senior Social was doing. The mayor of Southwark, Barry Hargreave, came by on one of our social, and he was inquiring about, he heard about, this is one of Barry's Hargreave, the resident, he is the councillor, he is the councillor for that area. And she will tell him every time that we have been supporting her throughout the entire pandemic.
Wow,
So she had medical issues, she had operation, she had medical issue, and this other lady beside her was Hopi, who is OP, was one of the clients who we supported. So they sang, it didn't, apart from asking me what is it that we do, they were the person who sang London Seniors Praise. And we got called to be honored for the work that we done, because Elephant and Castle newspaper had picked up our story, and they published it that we had delivered over 10,000 hot meals during the pandemic, COVID pandemic, and therefore he heard about London Senior Social, and so he came to find out exactly, without me even realizing that's what he was doing. He wanted to find out and to meet me and find out who I am and what he heard about from the resident that I've been doing for resident, of delivering soup and cooked meals and groceries, toiletries.
So when was this? So is this the award evening?
Oh yes, this was in October last year.
Is that Southwark Cathedral?
It is Southwark Cathedral. You know, so other recipients were there as well. So we took
Yes, was this the one where Southwark Pensioners was also at this one
Yeah.
as well? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep.
Are you in it,
It's
Brenda? Can't see.
Queensborough. This is me up front here, smiling
yes,
with my
yes,
two
lovely. How can I not
members
see them?
there. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So
To
this.
you and all the staff.
Oh yes,
Amazing.
it was. Our staff and volunteers, you know, a whole lot of people behind us really propelled the whole thing, and it just escalated where people begin to hear about London Senior Social. We felt honored because we were there with Blackfriars Settlement, Southwark Pension Centre, and this is a small company, you know. This is such a small charity, and yet we were there standing with some of the leading Age UK, Lewisham and Southwark and Queensborough, Blackfriars Pension Centre, and some notable people as well. So we really felt honored that we were put in such a distinguished group to be awarded.
Yes, proud moment for you.
Oh yes, was our first award, really. You know, so I felt really honored and really privileged to able to lead that group.
Well done.
To man all of that.
Well done. I wanted to ask you, because I've been asking everybody, because you've obviously got a really long association in Southwark. Do you live in Southwark?
Yes, I do live in Southwark.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you always lived in Southwark?
I've always I came in
Wow, okay.
2004.
Yeah,
2004.
Yeah.
I have two sisters that came previously.
Yeah.
They are like probably 10 years older than I am.
Yeah.
And I came into Walworth Road. Walworth Road, and frequent East Street Market. You know, that's my stomping ground.
Yeah.
You know,
Still?
Not really. I've moved over into Peckham Rye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is how I managed to bought that vehicle that started the whole business. Southwark again.
Okay,
I'm so intertwined.
You really are.
I'm really intertwined in Southwark.
So if I was to ask you, where's your favourite place in Southwark?
Oh, it's definitely Rye Hill Park. Rye Hill Park. Inside that park has a wealth of nooks and crannies and, you know, different areas that you can visit.
Yeah.
In the summer, we take our members over there, have picnic in the park, and they'll absolutely love it.
Amazing.
Great memories there. And we work alongside with the Latin American group, you know. So our group, London Senior Social, is multicultural group.
Do a lot of networking, it sounds like,
Massive amount of networking. Everybody come, every community come through. We have different cultural meal. Everybody's bringing something from their own cultural background, and we have a good fiesta. The Spanish people, they call it, you know, and it's beautiful. So one time in the year we have a picnic in the park for all cultural, the diversity of our group to come through.
I love the fact that you're so inclusive, you know.
Oh yes, I don't care.
That's amazing.
I don't care who you are, just come, you know.
Amazing career. Would you be anywhere else? Would you be anywhere else?
No. Southwark has definitely have my stamp of approval because that's what started me when I was living in Chiltern. Just off the Walworth Road there. I was living in a 1-bedroom flat, but they were going to knock these flat down after 1 year of living in there. It was earmarked for renovation. And they paid me $4,800. I was more than happy to go. I was looking to go. And because they're going to knock the flat down, they want people to move out. They pay me $4,000, and I use that to buy my vehicle to take members around. And from that, it has escalated to, you know, having a minibus, a 13-seater minibus. Amazing. Which we use to take members around. So it's fantastic. And even now, with Southwark supporting us, we are funded by Southwark Charity to host not only 1 day but 2 day daycare for older people within Southwark. So Tuesdays and Saturdays now, we're finally now break into midweek daycare for older people.
Well done.
You know,
Amazing.
so it's an amazing journey.
Yeah.
And I really wouldn't be able to do it. You know, people keep saying when I go to like network meeting or having a talk with other groups, they said, "Oh, is anything like that in Greenwich?" Or I said, "I don't know." Or they asked me, "Can you come over to this side of the borough?" And I said, "I don't think so." I've already established myself.
I think that speaks for itself. And anyway, listen, thank you so much.
Yes.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's always a pleasure, Lisa. It's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for capturing our stories.
Okay.
Yeah, and have a fantastic time as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.